Yep.
Herb,
Leslie?
yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Okay, the purpose of this meeting is to consider and possibly act upon the application for wind energy overlay district and environmental documents, and special use permits and related implementing agreements. The application and related environmental documents are available for review in the town hall. They have been and will be. Tonight we have the pleasure of having Dan Spitzer with us, our attorney, for questions from the board. And you each have before you all the laws and stuff that you've read several times, but you get another copy so everybody have one with them. So questions on the laws at hand. Dan, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board. There are two items in front of you. The first item is the local law creating a wind overlay zone. The second item is the resolution authorizing special use permits for the wind energy generating facilities and the implementing agreements, the host agreement, the road use agreement, and similar agreements. The way we wrote the amendments to the town of Altona law is it takes two basic requirements to put a wind energy facility in the town. You have to have an area zoned for it, and you have to have a special use permit for the specific turbine. To obtain a zoning approval requires a local law creating a wind overlay zone. This is the wind overlay zone that we published a notice of and had a public hearing on, along with the DEIS. The map that is in front of you as part of the local law is the exact same map. The local law has not changed in many a month. And the purpose of the local law is to say, here's where you can put wind turbines. I'm going to expand on what I said in Ellenberg a little bit, thanks to some questions that were asked to me by some folks after the meeting in Ellenberg. One of the questions that was asked to me was, well, what happens if somebody wants to come along and put another turbine in later that's not in the wind zone? They would have to come back to you, get another zoning amendment expanding the wind overlay zone. What happens if somebody, once you put in the zone, does that mean people could put turbines anywhere? Absolutely not. Every turbine also has to have a special use permit, and if you wanted to add more turbines, they would have to come back to the board and have a public hearing on the special use permit additions. So all you're approving tonight is what Noble Altona Wind Park is requesting for their 68 turbines in those locations, based on the environmental review that you went through. That's the first phase. That's the first issue that's in front of you, is the consideration of that local law. Questions I can answer for you? Or?
A lot of work went into this. And believe it or not, if you move one, you change everything. So it's quite a process to get everything to fit where it is. And I would say that inside that wind overlay zone, we have as many as we can get in there. One more would affect changing a whole bunch of others, and I don't think you can fit one more in there. So you don't have to worry about additional ones in that wind overlay zone. Anybody have any questions on the board?
You need a motion to adopt the resolution adopting local law number 2 of 2006.
I'll make that motion.
Can a vote, please? Ronnie?
Yes.
Rudy?
Yes.
Leslie? Yes. Larry?
Yes.
Mr. Supervisor, the second item in front of you then is the actual special use permit request for the specific turbines that were listed in the environmental review and the implementing agreements. If I may take a moment just to discuss what the implementing agreements are. The first implementing agreement is the host community agreement. It's gotten a lot of play in the papers because of the money, but it's a lot more than that. It's the agreement that sets out what's the main things that are going to protect the town over the life of this project, not just payments for the to the community for the impacts, but also the decommissioning fund and setting up the security for that fund and the procedure for decommissioning. the noise testing fund. Noble is actually creating an escrow fund so that if there are complaints by neighbors or random testing by the town, that's done on Noble's nickel to make sure that these facilities stay in compliance. And frankly, that's something that's going to have much more impact 5 and 10 years from now as these facilities age a bit. The additional things that are in the host community agreement that are very important are provisions about remedies and the town's ability to decommission if the company does not follow the law, provisions for transfers to make sure that no one owns these facilities who's not capable of carrying out the agreements, provisions related to the enforcement of the facilities to make sure that we limit any legal costs to the town and any fights here in Clinton County on wherever the company that owns them at the time happens to be located. For example, the bank that's financing the project, the French bank, fights here in Clinton County if there is one. And part of what there is also in front of you is a consent agreement with the bank that's the form to, if Noble were to default on its loan, the bank would be able to step in and take over the operation. So you not only have a fairly successful and financially viable company in Noble, you also have one of the largest renewable energy banks in the world that's also standing behind this project. Other agreements that are in front of you are the license agreement. This is the agreement that allows you to, or allows Noble to cross your roadways. The roadways are actually owned by the people and you have an easement, but to the extent they cross them and potentially interfere with the traffic flow, they need permission from you and from your highway superintendent. The road license allows them to do that when they put up insurance. One of the most important agreements in front of you is the road use agreement, where this is one of the benefits that hasn't really been talked about a lot in the press, but there is no question that on Dooley Road and on private land, Purdy Road, are going to be impacted by the heavy trucks. And what this agreement says is that Dooley Road will first be upgraded to where it can handle the traffic, and then after the construction project, it will be brought back up to that level. So it's not a matter of them leaving the roads where they started, it's a matter of them improving the roads and then bringing them up to that level, which means that your Dooley Road is going to be better than it is now at the end of the construction. There's no question that there's going to be discomfort to people while these heavy trucks are coming through towns and all. One of the benefits that are coming out of it is a better roadway, and that's a significant benefit to the community. That's part of the road use agreement. Happy to answer any questions about the specific agreements. I know it's a lot of paper. A lot of negotiating went on, literally up to last night at 9 o'clock, I think, is when I emailed everything, the final draft of everything to Larry. We had a long conference call with all 3 towns on Saturday morning to go through things, and it's been going on pretty much around the clock in terms of these facilities. Host agreements are very important. I think one thing that should be emphasized is these agreements don't only benefit you, this project also, for example, significantly benefits the school district. The school district is going to get a tremendous amount of money. There's not going to be any kids coming into the project, so their ability to do things for the children is significantly enhanced by what the town board has in front of it if it approves the special use permits and the other agreements. I don't think there's any question, certainly the board knows this, that there's going to be impacts on this project on your community, but I think the board has done an excellent job of balancing those impacts, minimizing them to the maximum extent practicable, and it's up to you to decide now in terms of whether to go forward. If that's what you wish to do, you would do so by approving the special use permits resolution.
So we entertain a motion to accept the special permits.
I'll make a motion that I'll second it.
And a roll, please. Larry?
Yes.
Rudy?
Yes.
Leslie? Yes. Ronnie?
Yes.
That's the only items that are on the agenda today, Mr. Supervisor. With your permission, and with the forgiveness of the people who attended also the elevator meeting, I want to say that they're there. How honored I am to have been allowed to represent you in this process, and how proud I am of the way the board handles itself. This is a very difficult decision. There's no question that this is going to change the character of the community for some time to come. It's a difficult decision, and the board took its time and investigated, and certainly no doubt that people will be legitimately different differences of opinion And the board stayed above the name calling and the fray that others tried to pull you into. It's been an honor to represent you. I'm not going anywhere, and if you're gonna start getting complaints, I'm sure, from the first day of construction, no offense, Fred, but, you know, CRA, you know, one of the most important agreements in here is that everything stays on Noble's nickel in terms of an on-site monitor and continuing efforts, and look forward to working with you through anything that comes up. It certainly has been a pleasure and an honor.
Well, it's certainly been great working with you. I've never had a time when I needed to know something, whether it be 9 o'clock Sunday night or whenever, that you weren't available. You have an amazing work ethic, and it's been a great help to us, so thank you very much for that. Now, we need to have her notarized.
Yeah, you want to adjourn the meeting?
I can adjourn the meeting,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Yeah, the documents that need to be executed need to be executed. One of them by the clerk, the rest by the supervisor, the highway superintendent. Noble has already executed all of them. And I also have for you the money I mentioned, including a $68,000 payment for your general fund, which is your first payment under the host community agreement. So I'll give that to the supervisor. And then there's $75,000 in the escrow account. There's other monies, you know, for the noise escrow account. And was there a makeup check here too? Or
There's a makeup check for the secret.
yeah, I don't see that, or did I pocket one?
Actually, I think
I think that was just Delaware.
we've already given that to her.
Okay.
So,
Is that I have a $68,000 check for your general fund, and then 2 checks which total $75,000 for your escrow fund for the continuing work of CRA.